This video will show you some of the adjustments that can be made to the worm and motor housing on an A200 mount. The first thing to notice is you of course have the motor, which drives a belt through this cog, which drives the worm, which in turn drives the main axis gear. This entire assembly is allowed to pivot around this point up here, so if I push hard enough on the motor, you can actually pull that away from the axis gear, and if you let go it should re-engage back with the gear. There are two slotted holes down here, and the block is allowed to travel along those slots. And you have a spring here in the tip of this screw, as well as back here underneath the motor, which are providing the tension that pushes the worm against the axis gear. Here you have two screws that are coming up, each of which have two brass nuts. And underneath the brass nuts you have a couple of spring-loaded washers, which are able to keep this plate down but still permit lateral motion like that. So one thing you don't want to do is have these locked down so tight that you're not able to push this away by hand with some force. You don't want that to get bound away from the gear, which would introduce backlash. You also want to make sure that you have adequate spring tension here, and so you should find that it's rather difficult to push this away, and if you release it should snap right back and re-engage with the mount. You also want to check belt tension. You should find that the belt isn't overly tight, but you shouldn't be able to depress it very much either if you push in from the side. This is probably a good reading for this belt.